What's going on, guys? This is Chris with Kingship Tech. Thanks for coming to the channel. Today's video, I am going to be doing part 2 of the using your camera in manual settings, and today's video is more for the photography side. Now, I did that video just last week about the video using your camera in manual mode and taking control of your settings, and if you want to go ahead and watch that first, you go ahead and post it there and you can click on that and watch it. So let's just go ahead and get right into the video without waiting. Alright, so we are out here at the park and I wanted to get some outdoors stuff with the camera. What we'll do first, I think would be a good idea, would be to shoot, take a picture in automatic mode and then see what that looks like, how the camera set itself up. And right now, because I'm using a 50mm lens, we're not going to try and do a landscape or a wide shot. This is going to be more for portrait photography, or if you want to get a close-up on something with a really nice shallow depth of field, a blurred background effect. That is pretty much what we're after, the goal for this whole thing right here. And so we want to compare it to what automatic mode does for your camera, and then we're going to do it again, but try to enhance it, make it a little bit more artistic, maybe a little bit more shallow depth of field, and mess with the exposure a little bit more to try and get to the look that we're after. Let me go ahead and find something that we're going to take a picture of, and then we're going to another picture of it in manual mode, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I have this mounted on this swing set, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of the actual camera to make sure we keep it all the same. So the first picture I'm going to take is going to be in automatic mode of the camera. That way I can actually get a really good shallow depth of field because the background's a ways away. And then we'll shoot in manual mode second to see if we can make it look better. So first, let's go ahead and shoot the automatic mode. Okay, so in automatic mode, I literally have no control over anything. I can't control the aperture, I can't control anything. So what it is, what I get is what I get. And so right now, that picture, 125 shutter speed, f2.8, and ISO 500. That is in automatic settings. So it's not a terrible picture, but it's focused on just one spot, which is not a bad thing. But if I want to get the entire camera in focus, then I'd have to bump up the aperture, and I couldn't do that. So as you can see from this picture, really the only thing in focus is the tip of the lens. And I could change the focus point, but if I want the whole camera, then I gotta do something about it. So let's go ahead and switch over to manual mode, and we'll adjust the settings from here. I'm probably going to go to let's go to shutter speed of 100. It's not too bright out here, so I can get away with going lower. If it was really bright, I would want to ramp up my shutter speed higher to help with how bright it is outside. So we got ISO 100, f5.6, and then I'm going to put the ISO in auto mode because that you probably can get away with that. So let's do it again. There we go. So in that picture, it's a little bit more in focus, the more of the camera is, but we're gonna have to ramp up the aperture to f8. Let's try that again. Alright, so that's better. As you can see from this picture here, that it is more in focus. Now I have ISO all the way up to 4000, which is kind of high, but if you're in full frame, it's not that big of a deal. If I can take the shutter speed down to 50, since I'm not shooting a moving object, it's probably not that big of a deal to go to shutter speed of 50 to try and take this picture, and that way my ISO goes down. So let's try it one more time. There you go. We have a shutter speed of 50, aperture at f8, ISO at 2000, so that helped quite a bit, going from 100 to 50 on your shutter speed. Now the reason why I need to have my aperture so high on this lens is because it's considered a portrait lens, 50mm. It's very compressed, kind of zoomed in on the subject, and so pretty much no matter what, everything is going to be blurred out except for a focus point. Like if you're focusing on your eye, or you're focusing on a point of the picture. If you're going to do a group shot, you really want a wide angle lens. Like this lens that I'm recording with right now is the 17mm lens, and that would be great for wide angle group shot or landscape photography, but for 50mm is more of a portrait style lens, and that's when you get more of the artistic feel that you want. But that is automatic mode, literally no choice in the matter. What I take is what I take. I can't change it, and that kind of defeats the purpose of having a camera that you can change out the lenses, because then you want to be able to control the aperture, the ISO, and the shutter speed, all in conjunction to get the picture that you want. So manual mode helps you get the picture exactly how you want it. So let's give another example of maybe we can adjust the settings a little bit more to get an even better image. And I'm going to go aperture all the way down to f1.8, which is letting in a lot of light. And if I change nothing, let's take this picture. It's at ISO is at 125, and my shutter speed's at 50. Now that's basically as low as it can go in ISO, pretty much. It goes down to 100, but it's pretty much as low as it can go to be able to expose correctly. And then if I want maybe a moodier, a darker setting, I'm going to set my ISO 100. And what I can do now is I can change the shutter speed up to 80. What that's going to do for me, exposure level down one stop, and so on the metering mode, what I'm talking about is it's going to go from 0, it's going to go down to the -1 spot. Alright, now let's say I want to go ahead and focus on the ADD part. So that right there, we're at aperture f1.8, ISO 100, and the shutter speed at 80. Now you could not get this shot here if you are in automatic mode, and I like to expose mine a little bit darker, and I fix it in post if I need to, but it's better than being overexposed and then trying to bring down the brightness in post. I feel like you can brighten it up easier than you can make it darker. That is kind of my style. That's how I like my pictures to be, a little bit more moody, darker, and then I can edit it in post. And as you can see, after I applied this edit to the picture, this is basically how it looks right now. That, in a nutshell, is basically why you really want to get to know your camera, get to know the settings and how it's going to act in low light, how it's going to act when you're outside. And being able to adjust those settings quickly is going to get you the best picture possible. It's much better than just going 100% shooting in auto, because, for example, if it is dark outside or darker, it's going to just ramp up the ISO as high as possible to make up for that image being so dark, but then you're suffering with all the noise in the picture, when all along you could have lowered the aperture to a lower number to make up for it, and therefore less noise would be introduced. So it's a balance, but I feel like you are going to be a better photographer and creator if you know how to take control of all the settings in this camera. Alright, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys learned something, the benefits of shooting in manual mode, and maybe inspired you to take your camera out and actually use it and test it out. Maybe shoot some pictures of outdoor stuff, plants, trees, bush, whatever. And then if you have kids or people that you can also practice on, go ahead and do that and take control of your camera. I think you're going to enjoy it more and be able to adjust. Now there's tons of other settings in these cameras to play with, but if you get started on those three things, the shutter speed, the aperture, and the ISO, and you start working those together to get the picture that you want, I think you're going to be happier with the setup. You're going to be a much better photographer going forward. And then you can learn about other things like the metering systems, the white balance, the different picture profiles that you can shoot in to get you the balance of colors that you really want. Comment down below if you like the video, if you're wanting to know something else about your camera, and I'd be happy to help you out. So please comment down below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. So I'll see you guys in the next video. All right.